Welcome back to the Catnip Podcast. My name is Grace and today is Monday, March 4th. This is a podcast about knitting and books and baking and cats and most importantly knitting, because that is what I do. I do all the time. It's my work, it's my life, I do it quite a lot. And that is what I love to talk about. If you get me started on knitting, I can talk about it until the cows come home. So this is what this podcast is about. If you would like to follow me on any of my social medias, I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry. I'm most active on Instagram, so if you'd like to go follow me over on there, I post relatively frequently, and then I just do all the Instagram things. All of that stuff will be linked in the show notes, or if you're on YouTube, down below, they'll be down there. In addition to that, all the things that I'll be talking about, hopefully I'll get links up. If not, if I forget something, please let me know. And all that will be in the show notes or on my blog. Link to my blog will be down below if you're on YouTube, or if you're on my blog already, you're already there, you know where things are, all that jazz. If you're new to the podcast, I work at a yarn store. It is called The Modern Skein in Montgomery, Texas. I will link to all the social media stuff, the website stuff. We have an online store if you'd like to go and check out and see what we have. Or there's also the address, and you can come and hang out with us in person. We would love to see you. It's always fun to hang out and knit with fellow knitters and just geek out about yarn and happiness and stuff with people who also will geek out about stuff like that with you, because it's very inspiring and rejuvenating and just goodness all around. So if you are local, or if you have the ability to come and visit sometime, we would love to see you. Well, it's been quite a busy week when it comes to my knitting, everyone. We have a lot to talk about. So without further ado, because this is gonna be quite an exciting episode. Or I feel like it's very exciting because I was very productive. That might not be exciting for you, but that's very exciting for me. And my phone, even though it's in the kitchen, I left the ringer on. My God, Snapchat. Dang it. Oh well. That's my lack of being a planner podcaster. Anyway, tangent. Apologies. If you would like to go grab something tasty to drink, or something to snack upon, or an animal to snuggle, or something to craft upon, or all of the above, or whatever just sounds good, what do you do while you watch podcasts? And you can come back and you can join me for some crafty chat. Everyone, it is freezing. Quite literally. I think it might be 38 degrees here, but so not quite literally freezing, but it is very cold. It's very odd for March in Houston. Usually by March we are averaging like mid-high 70s, maybe 80s, maybe a few 60s, low 60s, not 38. What is this madness? Again, I'm not complaining. More time to wear woolly objects. And in fact, I do have a wool sweater that got finished and is being blocked and drying right now. And I'm going to wear it to work tomorrow because it's going to be freezing again. So perfect time to wear a wool sweater that is just recently finished. Just so you are aware, because I know that you are obviously not here with me, I'm talking to a camera, but if you were here with me, you would know that our heater is on. This hot tea doesn't seem as hot because my hand is freezing. It's very cold. Going to work out this morning was really rough because, you know, leggings don't really cut 38 degrees. Very well, and in fact it was probably colder than when I left. Then I went and got groceries. It was still freezing. It's cold. It's cold. So now I have this deliciously hot cup of tea, which I'm drinking Lady Grey today. I've been on a Lady Grey kick recently and I'm quite loving it. It's so good. I love it so much. Anyway, I'm not really sure where to put my tea because I have a lot of like projects sitting around where I normally put my tea in my new location. Ha ha ha. Oh, look at me, I'm so fancy. Okay, so, people, viewers, dear viewers, I have finished quite the amount of projects last week. The week before was a little bit different. I didn't have very much knitting content, and then also Sam, my husband, joined me, which thank you everyone so much for your such kind comments about him. He is truly such a wonderful support when it comes to my knitting and what I love to do and stuff like that, and I'm glad that other people can see that just because he's so amazing, and he's always asking questions about knitting. He's always asking, what am I doing? Why does it work this way? So I appreciate the sentiments that all of you had in regards to him being so kind and supportive about when it comes to knitting. I really appreciate your comments, and I appreciate him for doing that. That was a little rambly, but I wanted to say it. So yes, that was last week, and I hadn't finished really anything. It was the end of February, or it was coming upon the end of February. I hadn't finished any Languishing Whips, and I was a little worried, but knew it would be fine if I didn't finish anything. I wasn't going to beat myself up about it if I didn't get things done. It was going to be fine. And then everyone, the very last day, the 28th of February, I went and finished not one, but 2 Languishing Whips, everyone. And you might be able to tell what one of them is because I'm wearing it. I did look on my Ravelry page. It just falls at 6 months. This is my Chrysalis shawl by Lavanya Patricella. Look how beautiful and glorious it is, and I'm trying not to get my ends in my tea because the ends are not woven in yet. And I take full responsibility of that. Granted, I blocked everything last night. I had a blocking party, and in fact, this, like, just another good example of how supportive Sam is about my knitting is that he knows I taught him once how to block items and how to like soak them, and if I have more than one item, I'll use 2 sinks because we got 2 bathrooms, and so I'll use the bathroom that I use and then the bathroom by our bedroom. And so he'll take a bottle of soak and he'll be like, how warm does the water need to be? How does the water need to be? I'll go fill up the sink. I'll get it all ready for you to go. And he'll do the whole thing for me. And I think that's so sweet. And then we block things together. And though he didn't knit the items, we're still blocking things together. And he watches me lay things out. He'll smash the water out of the sink, or the item, excuse me. If the timer goes off, he'll set timers for me. He's very sweet when it, just in general, but like specifically about the knitting thing, it's really wonderful. And so I did have a blocking party, and it wasn't just me last night, which was a lot of fun. So, yes. I finished this Chrysalis shawl. This is going to be in the store at my work, so if you want to come see this in person, there's another one that is knit in different colorways that's also very beautiful that Sharon, the owner, she knit that one. But this is in Melted Baby Surrey. I'm going to try not to get too close to the camera because this is not a podcast about my face. So the fuzzy is the Melted Baby Surrey, and I used the Rosemary colorway and the Shibuya colorway. And then the black color with all the fun colors and pops and stuff is Ching fiber. The Melted Baby Surrey is also Ching, but it's their stock in Panda. There you can kind of see it better on that brioche side. So it's very easy. Again, it is a lot of knitting. Your rows get incredibly long, and when it comes to the brio sections, when you're knitting the same row twice, it's a lot, but it's worth it in the end. So it takes 1 skein of fingering weight and 2 skeins of melted baby suri from Ching. I would highly recommend it, or if you're local, or if you want us to put together some colors for you, we can totally do that. So just let us know, and we would be happy to oblige. So, second thing. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that I had finished this, but haven't seen it in all of its glory yet. I finally finished 2 years and 2 months later, everyone. Just how long I've been married. Actually, no, it's been longer than that because I cast this on before, in December. So 3 months. Either way, you know what I mean. It's around that general time. I finally finished my Find Your Fade by Andrea Mowry. Everyone, this thing is massive. It grew significantly. Oh my. And again, I'm trying not to get ends in my tea because that's an issue. So here we started here, we fade to pink, we fade to various purples, then a mixture of purples and blues, then we fade to a blue, and then we fade to grays. Ta-da! I love this thing. I haven't put it on yet, so I have no idea how I'm going to wear it because it is incredibly big, incredibly large, incredibly everything, but I do love it quite a lot. And again, it holds a special place in my heart just because I did in fact knit upon this, like I said on Instagram, literally 30 minutes before I said I do. I walked down the aisle. I was literally knitting on this right before I got married. And so it does hold special memories. And it's just been a big, it's been one of those gifts. What? It's been one of those projects that has just, it's come with me through all the stages of life that we've had in the past 2.5 years. Being newly married and working on it in various times of those times of our life. Those times, I guess, like when we were living in Dallas, and then like us trying to figure out whether we were gonna move to Houston, and then moving to Houston and looking for work, and then finding the yarn store. And this has so many memories knit into this thing. It's very special. It's very special, and I'm really glad to have finished this so I can wear it. I think I'll get a lot of use out of it. I love these colors. This was an issue that I talked about many times when I was first working on it and back when we still lived in Dallas, is that I wasn't sure about my colors, and I really love them. Like, I love all these colors individually, and then it's just even better when they're all together. And it's still ever so slightly damp and still smells very woolly, and I love it. Oh man, there's just something about the smell of wet wool. Not all wet wool smells good, I will say that, because sometimes it can be almost too sheepy, and then the cat goes crazy. But quick side note, this was so funny. I wish you could have seen it, the viewer, you, yes you, I wish you could have seen it, because it was very entertaining last night. I had blocked all these things. There were a total of 4 items being blocked, and when I was doing it, Birdie, my cat, was sound asleep on the couch and he was not paying attention, but when he woke up he was like, whoa, There's so much sheepy smell going on right now. And some things are like really fuzzy and some things are like massive, so I can roll upon them and loll and get my cat hair all over them. But everything smells like wet wool and I love it. You could just see it in his eyes. He was just very happy about it. And so what he literally did for like the entire evening was rotate between the 4 items that were laying on towels in various places throughout our apartment. And like he would lay on one, he'd roll around, he'd like stretch, and then he'd move, and then he'd do it all over again on a different item, and then he'd move, and then he'd do it again. It was so funny. And he would, like, every once in a while he would like stop and look at us and be like, are you noticing me? Do you see what I'm doing? I'm so cute. Do you see me? It was so hilarious. So Birdie also loves wet wool, but we were not surprised by that. We knew that that was the thing already. So I guess it was a blocking party of 3, because if we include Birdie, it's just another person to celebrate the blocking process, even though it can be kind of tedious sometimes, but it's very important, I will say. It is very important. See, now the thing is that things have been blocked and now I need to weave in all these ends. And goodness knows when that's gonna get done. I don't know. Maybe tonight. Maybe tonight. Anyway, so this is by Andrea Mowry. Find Your Fade. It came out a long time ago. Maybe 3 years ago? 2 years ago? More than 2 years ago. Year and a half. 2 years and a half? Excuse me. Something like that. I don't know when exactly, but it's a really wonderful pattern. If you are looking for a massive, massive shawl and something that's a little different and you have a lot of stash that you can use, or if you can fade things, then that's awesome. It also doesn't necessarily have to fade. I've seen lots of stripy ones that don't fade the colors into each other and they're beautiful, which is really cool. So it works both ways. You don't have to do it with the fade, you don't have to do it with the stripes, you could do it all one color. The options are endless. You could do like the tips being 2 colors, or like one color and the main body being another one you could fade into. Ooh, that's a fun idea. I'm not making another one, but that's a fun idea. So someone should try that and let me know, because that sounds like a very fun idea. Yes, really great pattern. I have made so many mistakes in this thing and you can't see them, so it's a good thing, because that would be really sad if I had made all these mistakes and then just left them and then continued on. But like, for real, this particular lace section is super messed up and you can't really tell. Woohoo! No one will be able to tell. No one can see. I know, but again, I know I love it and I'm just happy that it's done. And I'm happy about all the memories that it has, and this is a really also very messed up lace section. See, this was my first lace section, so we know that this one is right. Ha 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 ha. It looks very nice. But yes, again, like, if you make a mistake, just as long as it kind of works out in the end, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Life is too short. I'm gonna get on my soapbox, my knitting soapbox very shortly. Life is too short to get worked up about little knitting mistakes that you make, whether they be like you were off 1 to 5 stitches at the end of a row, or you messed up on a lace repeat, or if you did something wrong on a color work section, but you managed to make it work somehow. Life is too short to worry about that. If it really does bother you, then maybe fix it. But if it's an easy fix. But if it's just like a really, like a sad thing and you're like, I just want to move on, but it won't, like, I can't stop thinking about it. Just let it go. Just let it go. It'll be fine. It's not going anywhere. It'll be fine. There's no live stitches. If there are, fix that. But if there's no live stitches, nothing, it will not hurt itself. It'll be fine. So, don't worry about your knitting mistakes unless they're massively big. And even then, you can make it work. There's ways to make it work. Enjoy your knitting. Enjoy your knitting. So next up is my test knit, everyone. For Isabel Kramer, this is called the Mycroft sweater. It's coming out in April for Edinburgh Yarn Festival, or EYF, which is quite wonderful. I hope to go someday. But this is a pattern that she's releasing, and I'm done. I knit it within a week, everyone. This is a new accomplishment for me. I'm gonna add this to my 2019 knitting goals because I did it and I want to check something off, so I'm going to. I did knit this in a week. Granted, it is a worsted weight sweater, so I know that like it's not like breaking news or anything. This is new for me. I've never done that before. I knit a sweater, a me-size sweater in a week. It's possible, everyone. And no, none of my ends are woven in because it's still slightly damp because it's cold and it's humid and it's nasty. But gonna make it work. I am gonna wear this tomorrow to work because it's gonna be cold and I want to wear it and I love it. It fits perfectly. Like, I love it so much. I love the length of it. I love the sleeve length that I decided to do. It's really great. It still smells sheepy. Look at this beautiful broken ribbed texture up at the top. I would highly, highly recommend this pattern if you are new to sweater knitting or you're looking for maybe your second sweater. You did like a really basic sweater the first time through and you want like maybe a step up. It's not really even a step up. It's very easy. You could do this as a first sweater. I'm sorry the pattern's not out currently. Everyone needs a Mycroft. And yes, that's the name of Sherlock's brother. I don't know if it's named after that Mycroft, but that was pointed out at the yarn store the other day, so I wanted to let you know that yes, it is the same name. I don't know if it's named after him though. So, Mycroft by Isabel Kramer. I used Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in the Fjord Heather colorway. I used almost 10 balls of that, I believe. The pattern information should, or the, what a pattern, yarn information will be on my project page whenever that goes up, and yes, so I hope to take pictures sometime this week soon, so they'll be ready to go for our deadline, which is March 12th. I'm just very, very happy and proud and kind of astonished that I could do it in a week, but I did, and I am, yes. That's not to say that my hands were not fine. They hurt for a little bit. I had to take some breaks, but it's simple enough that you can knit it within a week. So if I was talking about this with my mom, and we did discuss, or she made the very good point, that sweaters like this are a really great example for people who they want to knit a sweater, but they're worried about the time commitment, which is true. A time commitment to a sweater can be significant. And that's all just what you want to put into it. And there's nothing wrong with not wanting to put into it, or there's nothing wrong with like wanting to dedicate all your time to it. It's just whatever you want to do with your sweater. It's your sweater. So it is possible to find sweaters that you don't have to dedicate 5 months to. Granted, they're out there, and they're lots of fun. I have several sweaters that are languishing whips. But I know that if I had kept on going with them, they would have taken less time. But still, there's the 5-month sweater, and then there's the week sweater or less. So it's just a happy trying to figure out what works for you. They are out there. If you don't want to dedicate all that time, just find a heavier weight sweater and knit one of those, because they will go more quickly. I promise you that, for sure, because I just knit one in a week. I'm still surprised about that, but it happened, and I'm not complaining. So that's that's the Mycroft sweater by Isabel Kramer. It's a test knit. Pattern's not out yet, but I am super glad to have my first test knit of the year done, and hopefully have more coming in the future. So yeah, that is very exciting. So this next thing is very odd. It's very odd, and I've been thinking about what I wanted to say about it, because it's been a very weird, it's not a weird, I shouldn't say it's weird, because that makes it sound like it's bad. It's just been a very different, like, an interesting process of knitting this thing, and it's very odd. I also made tassels for it, so I'm going to show you those when I'm done talking about it, because it won't make sense until you see it. So this is a very simple pattern. It's Age of Brass and Steam. I forget the designer, but it's a free pattern. That looks beautiful on camera, I'm not gonna lie. So you're like, what is this yarn? Tell us now. This is very, 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 very old hand spun. This hand spun was probably maybe the 4th or 5th yarn that I spun that I knew I could kind of knit with. It was really rough finishing this project because my spinning was not great, but I did. And also, this is a very, very simple pattern. Also, you can tell how badly I did with my spinning, with all these ends on the back and just everything breaking and needing to be rejoined, and I'm not getting any ends in my tee. So the thing I wanted to say about this is that this, like, I was trying to figure out when I cast this on, I had to have been in high school. I don't know what year I was in high school. I don't think I was a senior in high school. Also, for new viewers, I was homeschooled. Not that that's relevant to this, but fun fact, I was homeschooled. So this thing has been on my needles for potentially over 10 years. Which is just mind-blowing to me. Like, that's crazy. And I really, like, every time I would go through my projects and I would open up this project bag and I'd see it and I'd be like, oh, I really don't really want to finish that. That's kind of, no. Because every time I would go through and I'd open up those project bags, I would have gotten better at my knitting, and I would have been like, I'm above that now. No. I had moved on to bigger and better things, and also the yarn, I knew that my spinning was really bad, and it wasn't bad. I shouldn't say that. It wasn't great. And so it was just very discouraging, and I didn't really want to finish it at all until recently when I pulled it out, and I was like, you know what? This project has ended up beautiful. Like, this is beautiful. I'm so happy with this. And I think it's cool that regardless of your level, regardless of your crafting level, whether you be a beginner, somewhere in between, super high, super accomplished, whatever, you can still create something beautiful. I believe that we've been given the ability to make art, and I think that this is part of it. And I think that it's cool to have something finished that I started when I was in high school and now be 26 and finish it and still be like, you know what? That's beautiful. I'm happy I did that. And now I get to wear it. And I can tell people that I cast this on when I was a little baby child. And I spun this yarn when I was a little baby child, and look at all these terrible like little ends that are sticking out that I don't think I could weave in because they're so short. But it's still beautiful. And I don't know, I feel like I was kind of rambling. My point, the main point that I was thinking about this is that if you are, if you're currently a knitter, or if you're, or a beginning knitter I should say, if you're currently a beginning knitter and you're like, I don't think I can ever do something that would be amazing, that's not true. That's not true. It just fell on the floor. That's totally not true. You can make beautiful, beautiful knitted items, crocheted items, any kind of crafted items. You don't have to be some kind of stellar, super high up there crafter to make something beautiful. How many times have I said the word beautiful? But hopefully you get my point that you don't have to be the most talented person in the entire world to make something that's beautiful. Stunning, gorgeous, creative, artistic, adjectives, synonyms. And so yeah, I could have very easily frogged this. I could have very easily been like, you know what, this is just ick. I don't want to finish it. Because also the wool was kind of, or the wool, I don't even know what this is, like where this fiber came from, but it was kind of scratchy when I was working on it. Now that I blocked it, it's much more soft. And it was icky and I didn't really like it. And then part of me was like, no, I'm gonna finish it because it's still gonna be really pretty and I really like it, I think. I do like it now. While I was in those last couple rows, I was like, wow, I hope this turns out okay, because I've put in at least 2 or 3 hours into this in the past couple of days. Please don't I guess, what is the moral of the story? I guess please don't get discouraged if you are trying something new, if you're a new knitter, or even if you're like not a new knitter. Just don't, whatever you do, even if you might not like it necessarily, it's still art. You've still been creative, and that's a huge, huge blessing that we have to be able to do. And I think that's awesome. And I'm just spewing words, and I don't know if they necessarily make sense. But, again, you don't have to be a super like high up there crafter. You don't have to be really brilliant with what you craft or whatever. In baking, books, reading, I don't know, anything that could apply to. You don't have to be the super high up there. Also, if it makes you happy, if you think it's beautiful, if someone else doesn't think it's beautiful, then whatever. They don't have to wear it. You're the one who is excited to wear it, so go you. That's awesome. Like, some people might see the back of this and be like, why did you even finish that? I wanted to. Because it's meaningful. It's got a meaning and memories behind it, and some kind of knitting lesson or crafting lesson, I don't know. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. If that is meaningful to you, let me know, because I was thinking about this while I was knitting this, because I did want to talk about it and I didn't know what I wanted to say, but just my reasoning, I guess, to finishing it. Because again, I very easily could have even just thrown it away. Just thrown it away. But I didn't. I finished it. And I made tassels for the ends of the shawl, because I think, like, it's gonna be fun. I love this. I love tassels on shawls, and I think it's gonna be super fun. And they're not attached, so it's kind of hard to see what they look like. But you know what I mean. I think this will be super fun for the summer and for the fall. It's like super autumnal colors. And I can be like, this is one of the not the very first things that I knit, but I was very young in my knitting career. I didn't know very much. And even in my spinning career, I didn't know very much at all. But I did it, and I finished it, and now I get to wear it, and I get to love it. And hopefully that's encouraging to you, wherever you may be in your crafting life. If you're a beginner knitter, if you don't know how to knit, art is art. Being creative is being creative. And we have that ability to be creative. And I think that's really awesome. And I don't really know what else to say about it besides just repeating myself. So I think it's a sign we should change the subject. But anyway, I'm very excited about this. This is Age of Brass and Steam. It's a very old languishing whip for March. Already got one down. It's only day 4. Feeling pretty good about that. So, feeling good. Feeling real good. So, we have a little time left on my SD card, which can be easily fixed if I need to. But I want to share my current works and what? I know this terminology, I really do. I've been knitting for a while. Works in progress, that is the term. This is my basic raglan sweater by Hoagie Locatelli. This is a for the sweater class that I am teaching at the Modern Skein. I finished the body. It is so awesome. I love it so much. And I've started my first sleeve, and I started this. I cast off the Age of Brass and Steam last night, and then finished picking this up and knitting on it, and got a lot done because we were watching Shetland, because Sam has never seen seasons 1 through 3, and we started season 3, which is the one that has 6 episodes for the one case, and it was very tempting to stay up very late, but I still got a lot of knitting in, so that was really good. Which means we still have more Shetland to watch, which I'm very excited about. Shetland is side note, Shetland is one of those shows that I never want to end. I just need it to go on for forever and ever and never stop, because I love it so much. It is truly amazing. And this is another thing that I can talk about for a long time, but I just end up repeating myself. So we're going to change the subject, go back to the knitting. This is Knit Picks City Tweed DK in the Toad color. So this is my Toady sweater, which I do love the name of. Very easy, super awesome first sweater, which is why I'm teaching it. I am planning on doing the steek down the front when I'm done, which, if you are unaware to that knitting term, that means I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut right up the middle of my sweater and make it into a cardigan, because I'm crazy like that. I'm not crazy. Maybe a little bit. Steeking is not crazy. The idea behind steeking is actually very brilliant and genius, but I feel a little crazy wanting to do that, so whatever. Take that as you will. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not. Hopefully I'm successful. So this is, well, what am I trying to say? Steeks normally have like a planned section down the front. I did not do that because I am going to try and do a spontaneous steek, which I don't know if that's the actual technical term, but that's what I've been calling it, so I'm just gonna go with it. So there is no like little thing down the front where I have specifically designated for where the steek to be. So I'm just gonna crochet my way up the front and then cut it. No, I don't think I'm gonna cut it first. I'm gonna knit the button bands and then cut it, I think. Haven't thought that through yet. I'm not like about to be done. I'm close, but I still have a ways to go. So, feeling good about this. I love this color. I love the yarn. I really, really love this yarn. I'll definitely be knitting more with this yarn in the future, because it's just, I think it's got a little bit of alpaca in it. And then tweed. How can we go? You can't go wrong with tweed. It's so classy. So classy. My toady sweater, love it. Love it, love it. Next up, very quickly, I've made more progress on my branches and buds by Carrie Bostic Hodge. I'm knitting into Out of Drops Flora. Here's the body. And then that's cast off. It's got a bottom. What? How crazy is that? We're just making so much progress over here. Really? Okay, side note, very quick side note. I really do believe that this whole like finish one languishing whip a month or finish something a month has been super amazing for my knitting creative mojo or whatever, because by the time, like if I'm at least finishing one thing at the end of the month or two things, whenever, just as long as I'm finishing something, that this may sound weird, but I really do think that I get like a slight adrenaline rush when I finish something. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I get so happy when I finish something. And so I'm like, I'm gonna finish all the things! Woo! And then I finish more things and I get an even bigger adrenaline rush and I'm like, yes, I'm finishing all these things! Maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. If I am, that's okay. That's just how I knit. So, finishing the chrysalis shawl, finishing my Find Your Fade, making progress, casting off the body of my toady sweater. It's just like, whoa. The other sweater, the Mycroft sweater, the Age of Breath and Steam, casting off all the things. I was just like, man, I know what to do. I just gotta get this done. This also helped that because I brought this to work one day and I measured it and realized that I was actually past the length that I needed. So made it really easy just to get motivated and like do the ribbing and cast off. The toady sweater does have a deadline for at least one sleeve for the next sweater class, so that's going to be my priority. But once that is done, these sleeves are getting done and I'm getting this done and I'm going to wear it. Because I love it, and I also love my mom's because she has the exact same one and was much better about finishing it on time. And I have not. But that's okay. You know what? Life gets in the way. It's okay. Hers is super cute. It's very inspirational. See, we planned it. We'll just pretend that we planned it this way, that my mom can finish hers first because she's really good at being like, I'm going to finish something. And then I see it and it's just like, ah, I'm motivated to get this done because I want to look that cute as well. See, we really did plan it this way. We actually didn't, but we'll pretend we did because then I feel better about it. I'm very excited about this. I'm just very, very happy with how this is going. Just top down yoke. My nose is itchy. Divide for the sleeves or the body. Knit the body. Ta-da! And Bob's your uncle. Which I think is the weirdest phrase. I wonder where that originated. I don't know. It's a good question. Sounds like a good Trivial Pursuit answer. Anyway, it's a good way to measure information or knowledge that you may learn. If it's good Trivial Pursuit, or if you think there might be a question in Trivial Pursuit about it, it's good information to know. So, one more thing I want to say very quickly because I am running out of battery and SD card space. One thing, if you do have a lot of sweaters on the needles like I do, and you know there's a certain way that you want them to be made, it really helps, or I decided to do this just this past week, is to kind of create a card or just some place where you have all this information written down. Is how long you really like your sweaters, how long do you like them if they're cropped, what is the bust size that you prefer when you're picking out sizes, how long is the raglan or the armhole size that you really like, sleeve length. Because one thing that I found, not frustrating, but just kind of like, this is time consuming and I have other things to be doing. I could be knitting instead of measuring how long my arm is. Maybe that's just me. So I found that writing all that information down and having it either in my phone or on a sticky note near my pattern or whatever, or even writing it on the pattern, really helped me kind of like, this is what I'm working on. I know what I'm working towards. I know what I want. I've already figured this out. I know this size, the length, size, length, whatever works, and I can do it. Then you can power through and you just feel so much better about yourself. It's just really great. I would highly recommend it. Maybe this is this is a very easy thing to do, and I know I'm not the first one, and I'm probably very late to the game and everyone already does this. But if you haven't, do it. It's really easy. It takes no time at all. Once you have it all written down, you have it all written down. Super easy. And then if you're looking for sizes and you're knitting a sweater, then you have that all written down. And then if you're looking for yarn for that sweater and you don't know what size you should make, then you already have all your information. Easy peasy. How awesome is that? Would highly recommend. Do it. Do it. Got 7 minutes left in the battery, so we're gonna close this episode down. Thank you so much for watching this episode, whether you are a new returner, what? If you're a returning viewer or a new viewer, I appreciate you. I appreciate your comments, your likes, everything that you do. You are awesome. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to follow me on any of my social medias, like I said at the beginning, I have Facebook, Instagram, It's the first time I messed up on that in a long time. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Ravelry. Instagram is where I'm at a lot of the time, so please go follow me over on there. Links to the things that I have been talking about this entire episode will be in the show notes on my blog, or the link to my blog will be down below, as will all the information to the Modern Skein, the yarn store that I work at. I'm really tripping over my words here. What? All that will be all the places, so if you're interested, go check those places out. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me or comment or do whatever. Get in contact with me. I would love to hear from you, or just chat or whatever. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, and I hope you continue to have a wonderful week. If you have crafty plans, I hope that they are successful. I am on a finishing kick. I am bound and determined to get more things done, and again, regardless of your crafting level, what you make is beautiful. What you make is art. It's creativity. It is awesome. Never feel bad about that. Never feel bad about that. Everyone's at a learning process. You're always learning. Knitting is one of those awesome things where you never stop learning, and I love that about knitting. Which is another whole other topic that we could talk about, but my battery is about to run out, so we can't talk about this right now. How about next week? I'm sorry, let's just come back next week. So like I said, I have a lot of knitting to do. I'm excited. I'm very looking forward to the things that I have knitting-wise coming up. I hope you are excited about the things you are working on, and that is all that I have for you guys this week. I got 2 minutes left on my battery, so we're cutting this just in line. It's all good, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!